this is going to be the second series in my RPG tutorial. Um, so in the first video, I was doing a lot of typing. Since then, I pretty much rewrote the entire engine because I wanted to add a graphical user interface. Can you? I guess it didn't load up yet. All right. And basically, um, what I want to do in this video is just go over some of the code that I wrote for the first game, and then show some gameplay. I don't think that should be too hard. It's not that one. Nope. I think it's probably this file here. Yeah. Alright, so let me run it first. I don't know if this is big enough. Let me make it 18. Alright. I don't know if that's big enough actually. Alright, there we go. That's pretty big. Okay. So what is it? RPG. Okay. Maybe it's not RPG. RPG game. Oh, what am I doing? Alright, so here's the RPG. You have option here, fight, shop, inventory, your stats. If you click on 4, it shows you our stats. Level 1. Inventory, there's nothing in it. And then shop, we can either buy a small potion or we can leave. So I'll buy a small potion. I'll buy another small potion and I'll leave the shop. Now if I click on my inventory again, I have 2 small potions. So let's start a battle. We enter the battle. We're going against a toad. So we fight and then it hits us back. That's pretty much what it does. It's not anything too complicated. I'm going to just skip ahead to show you. Alright, that's the screen. We get 20 experience. I enter another battle. Basically, if you kill enough of these, you get to level up. I don't know if I'm going to go that far into just showing you like what it's like to level up and all that. But, I mean, that's the game. It's a pretty simple game. Oh, what did I press the wrong button? Alright. So this is the code behind it. Alright. You remember our original game loop? And basically, what I wanted to do here was I wanted to clear the screen, and I had a timer on how long it would take until the screen was cleared. So what happens is every time you put an action in and then the scanner reads it and it prompts you for another action, you'll go into one of these 4 options, either fight, shop, inventory, stats. So this is pretty much stats. What stats does is just takes in the player object and then it just prints out your health and your money. Inventory gets your inventory. This is just a little function that I did to add spacing. And then here we just have lists. We just instantiated a list to be able to add it to our constructor in case you wanted to actually add items. And then here was the monster that we created. And then as you see, the switch statement actually creates an instance of the battle menu if we do select fight, and it drops in a player object and it drops in a monster object. If we go into shop, we'll just use the display method. So why don't we actually look at the player class first, so you have a little idea of what it actually looks like. So the player, it consists of about 6 fields: name, level, health, money, damage, and experience. Um, well, actually seven if you eight if you include the max HP and the inventory. And so this is the method that I wrote for the level up. And what it does is it just checks your experience. If your experience is greater than 100 and the level is 1, then basically what it's going to do is it's going to show you this screen, and we that's what we previously saw. So it'll increment our level by 1, it'll add 5 to our damage, it'll increment our health by 30, and it'll just refresh our health. When I say health equals this match health, that just means refresh our health. And then there's a bunch of different cases for leveling up to level 2 and so on and so forth. This is level 3, obviously. um, I'm just incrementing the damage by 5 every single time, and I think that I'm incrementing the health by about 15. So that's just pretty much it. Those are the getters and setters. Um, Here, when we get more gold, we can just call this method, and this just adds to our money. Remove money, same thing. If there's not enough money left, we can just tell the user not enough money, so basically we can't buy the thing. Um, Inventory, if you want to add something to your inventory, and then if we want to drop something from our inventory. I don't think that I actually created an option for using this drop inventory method though yet. Stats, clearly this just displays the stats. We saw what that method does look like. um, Potion. Okay, so basically the potion method is, does our inventory contain a potion? And if it does, explain that they're using a potion, and then check that your health is actually less than what is this, max health. If it's less than 30 and your health is less than that or equal to that, then it would make sense to use the potion. Otherwise, oh right, because we don't want our health to go beyond whatever the max health is. So if that's a situation, then we just add 30. If it's not, then we just set it to the max health, pretty much. Because I mean, you could theoretically use potions to increase your health, and then just removes an potion from our inventory and then displays what our health is. So yeah, and then we saw what this method did. All right, so that's basically the player class. Um, let's look at the monster class. The monster class, it's pretty much the same as a player class. I mean, in reality, I could have just created an abstract class and then inherited the player and monster class from that abstract class. Maybe I would call that like entity or character or something like that. Um, so the purpose of giving the monster money or giving the monster items, right? So you see here the monster has money and the monster has items. When the monster dies, theoretically you want to be able to collect something from the monster. So if it drops an item, this is what you would use to store that. If it drops money, this is what you would use to store that. And then if we go back to our game function, we can see here that we're giving the monster a stone, and we've probably given the monster either 10 or 20. I don't know how much money we actually gave it. Okay, we gave it 10. So let's actually look at the function where they fight, and then that'll make more sense. Maybe we go to the battle. All right. So here is the actual fight situation. It'll display how much damage the monster does. And then I have a method here, this basically just saying, subtracting whatever the monster damage is from your own health, and then subtracting whatever the your damage was from the monster's health. If your health ever gets less than or equal to zero, obviously you die. So then we just want to stop the game there, and it's just going to display your health and the monster's remaining health. Flee is if you want to run away. I think that I incremented a percentage chance that you may not be able to flee, but maybe I don't handle the logic in this particular method. Obviously, this is the battle mode. This is the battle menu. So when your level gets higher, that's basically when I create another monster, and I could just do that using the monster class. I could set the name, increase the damage, increase the health. Um, Obviously, if you want to switch back and forth, it's you may want to use some kind of a random number generator to be able to handle this check, and then you could alter between, you could create like a switch statement to either, oh, okay, the random number generator generated one, so we want to ogre if it generated two, maybe we want to tilt if it generated three, maybe another monster. Here, basically, this is just displaying the battle menu, and what is this? Okay, so maybe there was some randomized thing here. I wonder what that's for, though. I wonder what that's for. I don't even remember. It's been a while since I looked at this. Oh, okay. So this is where I handle the logic in order for it to try to run away. All right. So that makes sense. So basically, what happens is you get into the battle menu. Um, we've already handled the logic for the actual fight happening, but here's the menu for actually deciding what actions to put in, if you want to run away, or if you want to fight, or if you want to use a potion. And then basically what happens if you press fight is that this is actual the okay, so here's a menu. Okay, so this is just displaying the two different screens that we saw earlier. So we saw the player's health and stats, and then these are the options. Obviously, I skewed it over to the right, so there's a little bit of space between the player and then the monster on the bottom. And then this is the monster on the bottom. Take an input, and then situation one, if we fight, and then the monster's health gets down to zero equals zero, then that means we can set the boolean to true so that we won. And if this triggers, then probably we'll show the success screen. Situation two is if we use a pot. Obviously, the method for using pot checks to see that we have a pot in our inventory, and then if we do use the pot, then we subtract it from our inventory and increment our health. And then I pretty much already explained what situation three does, is the attempt to run away. So now we can look at the code for if we win. It's gonna show us uh, how much experience we got from the monster, how much money we got from the monster, and then once again I explain what this method did is the item that we actually got for the monster. Then we can just add it using the methods from our player class. Add the money, add inventory, and then add experience, and then this checks our level if we want to level up, and I think we previously reviewed that code. The reason why we reset the monster health is because when we encounter the monster again, the field for his health, obviously we're gonna have to like reinitialize that back to full because we've just subtracted a lot of values from it in the battle. And then this is just like a little pause here, setting the timer. If flee, then we want to reset the health, and we just want to break out the wild loop. So basically we're nested into two loops right now. If you're in the main, if you're in, let me show you. So if we're in the main function, then we're going to be inside this loop. And then once we get into the battle function, that's when this while loop starts up. So when we break out of this loop, see this actually when we break out of this loop here, either here or here, then that's going to bring us back into the main loop. And that's pretty much how the logic happens. We prompt the menu, then we choose we want to fight, and then when we fight, we go into our battle menu. Next, we can talk about the shop. All right. So pretty much this is the shop. It's gonna say, "Welcome. Do you want to buy a small potion or do you want to leave?" There's not really. It's not really that complicated. Here we just take in an option, and then if the option is case one, then we first want to check to see if we have enough money. If we don't have enough money, then it'll just say we don't have enough money. If we do have enough money, then we want to subtract 20 from our money, and then we want to add a small potion to our inventory. Otherwise, we just leave the shop. It's not that complicated. Oh, you know what? I don't know if I covered the item drop from the monster. Maybe I kind of skipped over that a little bit when I was explaining. Oh, wait. Alright, so. Oh, right, I did go over that. Alright, good. Alright. Um, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, get inventory, explain what that does, get stats. So that's pretty much it. Um, in the next video, I'm going to show you the engine that I rewrote, because basically what I did is I created a graphical representation of where your player is in the map. And I think I wanted to expand on the game a little bit more than just what I had created here. It's been a lot of fun. Alright.